Hello and welcome, folks, to Seekers of Legend, Forging the New Gods, episode 11. I'm Chris, the Bardic DM, and we are back. Sorry for the slight delay. Things have been going. There was a slight delay just due to some combination of tech issues and something that needed to be talked about off stream. Got to love when technology decides to muck about with your scheduling. Right, well, here's hoping people will be arriving soon, and we'll go on to a bit more of a pleasing map rather than my screwed up attempt at trying to make a siege map. So, as of last time, you guys had 3 weeks left before the expected arrival time.
Yes. So, we got all the rituals, well, the 2 rituals that we needed to get done last time.
Yeah.
Do we need to start constructing, like, barricades or anything that we're trying to do, guys?
Well, you already had the palisade set up and the stone wall in front of that, thanks to one of the rituals.
Yeah, but I'm talking more of like kind of trenches and stuff that run different ways so that we can slide rangers or players through them.
We do need to dig those holes out in the nowhere.
Oh, in the ensuing forest, in the exterior forest, you want to lay some extra traps, of course.
Yeah.
And I believe you also wanted to have some scouting done, correct?
Yeah, so I was going to begin at least planning out spots just where I could find a good spot to ambush them so I could hit the siege weapons and, if possible, well, if I can get it done quickly enough, to try to get their food store at the same attack, but if not, I'll just pull back, try again later.
Okay.
And Quoth's gonna fly when the army gets to where he is able to get some good looks to try and find who the spellcasters are.
Okay, so how far is Quoth going to be flying out, to ask?
Quoth is probably going to be doing 4 miles out, pass-throughs during the last few weeks, and when it looks like they're within that range to kind of start trying to pinpoint the casters.
Okay, yeah, it'll still be a little while yet before they'll get that close. Because I'm guessing you don't want to be out scouting, too far away from base. In the case of ours.
Yeah.
No.
I'll say maybe I'll maybe go like a few days out, or maybe like a day or 2 out, and maybe find a good ambush spot and get set up there. But then I'll head back. I'll prepare. I'll head back further once we can start getting an idea of how long it's going to take, when exactly they're going to reach us.
Okay.
Oh, Aaron, do you still want to do the other ritual for the undead? I know you were talking about that last time. Do you still want to do that?
We can. Trying to think where we could put it.
You could I was going to say, you could technically use the circle that you used to create the stone shield for other rituals.
The same one?
Yes. I was going to say, the main reason you needed 2 is because of expediency, and also because the one that can't be used at the moment is the one you used for the water effect, because that needs to be maintained for it to continue taking charges.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would need to do some research into, what aspects to put into it, but you could easily make it to do a ritual about that, yeah.
Well, currently, hold on. So what are we getting again from the Earth one? I just want to make sure what we already have, and then if we do the undead thing, does it get rid of that?
No, you just create. No, it would be a separate effect.
Okay.
Because the stone shield's effect was a single casting manifestly effect.
Okay.
Which was what gave you the stone walls.
Gotcha.
You don't need to re-manifest
Maintain
those.
it, yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's only for the wave shield that you need to maintain it, because that's a multi-charge effect.
Correct. So... Undead. Emma, what are you gonna put into it?
Hold on, I'm trying to find it.
Because I know you had a spell.
Barriers, shards, casting.
Wasn't it like something pulse?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's an Arcanist spell. Was it level 1?
It's a level 1 spell.
Okay, right. Just let me have a...
Did you happen to put it in...
Yeah, I put a link for it, and...
Yeah, you definitely did. Where is that? I know you did.
Let's see.
Yeah, here it is. Positive pulse.
I don't get the feeling that's going to be a nasty spell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to overlap. So...
Yeah. Yeah, 1d6 damage.
Okay.
Okay. So
And for those who are healed by positive, it doesn't. And for those on our side, +2 bonus on saving throws for death effects, energy drain, negative energy, and directly and can hurt haunts as well.
Yeah. Alright, folks. Hey, what's up, bud?
Here you go. Oh, hey, Jazzy.
Trying to think.
I thought you were going for a hide from undead or something like that.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that would... what that would do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you could do a knowledge religion check and try and identify what effect it might have as part of a ritual.
Yeah, let me do that. 1 sec.
No problem.
There you go, 29.
Okay, just let me read through the spell again myself, just to...
Yeah, so I mean, it just gives a bonus to, like, hide from undead, but, that's the things I'm trying to think, like... Would that... Could I use that effect, essentially, on, like, not only, like, play, or, like, NPCs and all that stuff can hide from it, but could I also do it where it hides, let's say, like, certain holy traps or whatever?
You might...
Or, not holy, positive energy, what the hell? I'm blanking today, guys.
If you want to make something fun, just add hedging weapons to it.
Yeah.
What, so you end up with... What's hedging weapons do again? I'm trying to remember. I know it gives, like, force effects weapons or something like that. And then that also gives a deflection bonus, if I remember correctly. Hedging weapons. Yeah, working that... Let's see. Yeah, working that hedging weapons in, if you wanted to do that sort of thing, you'd basically be creating a... Depending on how successful the ritual is, you could be what is effectively an extra deflection bonus onto AC with a potential of several points of ranged fire. That'd be sort of like an additional shot that could be set off by those within the building or within the fortification. And as for hide from undead, so you were thinking of using it to not only hide the people within the fortress, but also use it to obscure items from their perception as well.
Yes, if I could, yeah.
You could definitely get the former effect, although you would need to re-perform the ritual at certain stages to refresh the charge sort of thing for the hide undead. But that'd only be maybe once a week, once a month, depending on how successful the first casting is.
Okay. I mean, we could say, like, I use it at a higher level spell slot, too, if you want.
Well, if you did that, then, yeah. Have you got a second level spell already?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in which case, yeah, if you wanted to use it as a second level, prepared as a second level spell, and then use that for the ritual, then yeah, I could see it hiding items. Again, it would still probably need to be refreshed once in a while, but...
Yeah, I mean, that would work.
Yeah, it could definitely hide certain items, although depending on how strong the aura is, if you're using positive energy effects, that might make it a bit obvious to more intelligent undead.
Yeah. Yeah, because my only other thing is that if, like, the hide undead wasn't going to be as grand, then I was going to do, consecrate.
You've got access to that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Second level spell.
Yeah, just to say, if you did the consecrate, yeah, you could permanently apply that to the entirety of your base.
So would you guys rather the consecrate than the hide undead?
That would actually probably be amazing.
Consecrate.
Also,
Alright. I'll do
what
consecrate then.
would Emma's spell, Positive Pulse, do in combination with that?
Okay, so I need to double check the information on consecrate just to double check. Okay, so...
Consecrate, such a wonderful spell.
It is. It very well is.
Let's see. Well, let's see. And do they get... Let's see. Copy link. Just double checking what positive pulse, whether positive pulse gives a save DC or not, because I can't remember for the life of me. I was only looking at it a couple of minutes ago.
Nope, no saving throw, no spell resistance either.
Okay, right. In combination, it would probably... Let's see. Plus and minus... So, yes, I'd probably have it cast as a higher level... I would probably have it cast as a higher level spell. And have it basically be a repeating effect whenever a new undead entered the area of the consecrate effect.
Okay.
So basically the entire place would be effectively an anti-undead land, positive energy landmine.
I mean, that works.
Yeah, that particular combo is going to be nasty. Funny as all hell. And there goes
I just like the fact that undead can't be created or summoned in the area.
Yeah, that makes...
Good luck, necromancers!
Yeah, it would still just be within the area of your base, so within, say, the walls of the camp and, you know, the city and the valley. It wouldn't stretch out further than that.
They can't kill our people and turn them against us. That's perfect.
Well, unless they drag the bodies out of the camp, which is more effort than it's worth.
Yes, only they can do that.
It's perfect.
Okay, so again, it'll take you a little bit of time to get the ritual, but that won't be a problem. And then
Okay.
So whilst we're having you guys prepare for that one, Arusk, if you want to go out and do your scouting, don't know if you want to take anyone with you.
Yeah, I'd probably say next, want to help me scout the land in Verboten? I may need some blasting gel for when the ambush goes off to carry their siege weaponry.
Sure. Sounds like fun.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll go scout with you.
Thank you.
and before you leave, Emma's gonna give you she'll give you 5 of the poison eggs, the poison turned to eggs, and just be like, this should be enough in case you get a chance to use them. You may not, but it'd be a nice little surprise.
How long do they last?
I believe it's the rest of it. I think it's 1 day.
I'm going to be going a few days out.
I'm trying to see. Hold on. Alright. Poison egg. Alright, staying through. Restoration. Alright, never mind. Emma won't do that. It doesn't last. It lasts for rounds. She'll have enough sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say poison egg is one of the weirdest spells.
I feel like it's some inside joke the developers made.
No, because it could be useful for, like, say, an arcane trickster or something like that. You know, if they've got the poison use rogue talent and they're an arcane trickster, being able to make your own poison on the fly and apply it to your weapons would be pretty sweet.
True.
I think it's more of a niche circumstance ability spell rather than just a generally bad spell. Although I can't remember what the poison's like, so yeah.
One day Emma will have her group of arcane tricksters. One day.
I'm not sure what scares me more, that or the Magi. Actually, no, I am the Magi. If only for when they get to the really high level and can pull off that dimensional blade shtick.
Oh yeah,
that spell is brutal. An entire round, swift action, full attack. All attacks for the Magus are touch attacks.
There are anti-heavy troopers. Anti-heavy troopers.
Yeah. Okay, so if you could give me if either Nyx or Aris could give me survival checks. And also knowledge geography, if either of you have that.
I do not have any. That's part of the reason why I always bring Nyx for all of this.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be kind of lost otherwise.
True.
At least you've got a massive landmark.
Ignore the last two. For some reason, my thing was taking so long to go through.
It rolled multiple. No problem. Okay, yeah, you're definitely... So, 17 and 26, yes, you're able to find... whilst it's... You're able to find what's a fairly steep-sided valley that's fairly deep in the forest. It's about 2 days out from the main base. From your main base, that is.
Alright, this looks good, and I'll take out some of the blasting. I'm basically going to try and make it a little... Let's try to make it look like a natural landslide occurred.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta slow them down while we sneak in and destroy their stuff.
So you're looking to have it go off immediately, or is that meant to be set off in...
No, I'm gonna set it off immediately and just try and cover it up to make it look like it's been natural. So hopefully it will, I don't know, make them drop their guard. Or just
okay.
It's mainly just a stalling tactic.
If you could do a knowledge engineering check for me then. Are you doing it on just one side or both, to ask, of the valley?
I'll go with one side since that'll look more normal.
Okay. Alright, you're able to place it, so you do end up also bringing down one of the border... probably one or more of the bordering trees as well, so you've got a fairly decent roadblock that'll slow them down by at least a couple of days, depending on their numbers. And what other forces they might have.
Good. Now, next, you bring any other hunters with us? Since they brought at least a couple of my scouts. I'm not bringing like a big scouting group. Maybe just a couple of my own people to back us up in case we run into anything.
Yeah, she would have brought like 2 or 3.
Do you mind having like one of your guys' animal companions stay back here, basically just keep watch when when they start nearing to the spot, they can go back to us. The companion come back to us is basically just a warning sign, so like no one can move. We need to get back here.
So you want one of the animal companions, or the hunter and its animal and their animal companion?
Animal companion. I'd be good with just the animal companion. It would just basically just start back to us, so they'll deliver just as a warning.
Well, you did say that the scouts were probably going to have something that could fly, didn't you, Nix? I think.
Do what?
Didn't you mention that you wanted the scouts to have animal companions that could fly?
Yeah, a couple of them would have one. So like whoever had it, so
yeah, so
one of them probably would have grabbed a falcon or a hawk.
Yeah, that's no problem.
That'd work.
Yeah, that's fine.
Turn back to the hunter, so we just see the other one of them have the flying companion is a flying squirrel.
They do not actually have a fly speed, so I don't think that works.
Flying squirrels can't fly. They are just able to glide through the air as they get from tree to tree.
Well,
I know that's a joke.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if there was actually a version called a flying squirrel in Galarian somewhere that actually was just a squirrel with wings. It would not be the weirdest creature to spawn from Galarian.
Alright, once this is set up, I'll spend maybe like a couple hours just trying to make sure it looks natural. Maybe just like try hide like the ace for like the blast marks to maybe scorched on the stone or something.
Okay.
And then after that, I'll just head back. I'll start some other stuff, but you can switch to go to someone else now.
Okay, so apart from rituals, Verbatim, Karagel, did you have anything you wanted to do at the moment?
Yes.
Okay. What was it?
We have tailors in town, right?
Probably not, but there are probably people who know in general how to fix up tears in clothing and all that, but not necessarily fully trained tailors.
Oh, don't worry, it doesn't have to be good. Do we have any, like, cloth that we can dye or anything like that?
There'd probably be some tarps and stuff that you could maybe cut into usable cloth, yeah?
Okay, cool. I'm taking the symbol that we made for our group, and I'm asking them to make a flag for us. And then I have another plan.
Okay. That should be possible to do, for the most part. Might not be exactly right colour-wise, just because getting black dye would be quite difficult.
Dark blue or something, dark brown or something.
Yeah, probably be a dark purple, considering you've probably got a fair few beets hanging about and they're an easy source of dye.
Alright, cool. That'll work until we get something better.
Not to mention it sticks the easiest out of any of them, as anyone who has tried cutting and or preparing beetroot in any fashion can tell you.
Now the second thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start making some signs.
Okay. Thought you'd be more working on the armour, since we were still down a few suits at that on the...
Oh yeah, but you can only do that 8 hours a day according to Pathfinder stuff.
Yeah, but... So if you want to be doing both, yeah, if you could make me a couple of blacksmithing rolls.
Oh yeah, what are the armor stuff?
Just because I'm fairly sure, if nothing else, right before the big battle, I'm fairly sure Nyx is going to want Ram to have his barding by then.
Yes.
I'm going to say Big Kitty's been getting walloped a bit too often recently.
Verbatim's going to be working on creating phosphorus.
And thus the heroes devolved into war crimes.
Emma will actually go to Verbatim and try and ask him about possibly figuring out a salve or something to ensure that if the enemy is able to cast Burning Disarm, it won't work, or something that can counteract that effect for our fighters.
What are they called? Lock gauntlets?
That's
still burn.
Yeah, they can still drop it. Just it's a higher DC.
Right.
Yeah.
well, even if that wasn't the issue, there's still the fact of if not, you've still got the burning hot weapon in your hand, and you can't let it go. That might be more of an issue at that point.
Yeah, it's trying to counteract the burning effect so if someone's holding it, they can't get hurt.
So like an ice cantrip or something like that.
Yeah.
So
We could always just give him the tongs for the blacksmith.
trying to string a sword whilst holding it in a set of tongs, that'd be interesting.
Probably be hilarious for the other side.
Yeah. Not to mention the disarms would be far easier than trying to cast the spell at that point.
Nope.
The enemies just start sneezing on them to make them drop their weapons.
Improvised reach weapons.
So yeah, Verboten will assist with that. Try to come up with some sort of ice cantrip to negate a burning disarm spell,
It'd be
as well as working on the phosphorus.
okay. So give me a couple of craft alchemy checks then. Oh, and Krogl, if you could give me one more for the craft check for the scythes you wanted to make. Okay. So you're able to make a small amount of phosphorus. And you've got a balm that that you think if people apply it will probably block one use of burning disarm. Though, 26. You've not got.
Is that something they could put on beforehand? It's going to be kind of a thing to take out a bomb, put it on your hands in the middle of combat.
Yeah, it's something that you would layer on before you started fighting.
Okay.
Thankfully, not water soluble.
You basically just made all the fighters have to put on a glove full of Vaseline.
Pretty much.
And the archers.
What the fuck?
I was thinking more of a cooled lotion, but alright.
just slurp.
Alright.
Well, Nix, if you wanted to... Well, shouldn't you have gotten another feat at level 3?
Ah, shit.
Hang on.
Yeah, he already got one. He got his.
Hang on. Feats. Hold on. Oh yeah, he gets his second at level 2 and doesn't get another one until level 5. Ugh. If you want to swap out one of the previous ones for armor training, I'm okay with that. If you want to sort of retrain him, then as I say, I'm okay with you doing that. It shouldn't take too long. But
Yeah, I guess I can switch out.
We can.
Hang on, let me look.
I can get him some armor that he won't. There's no reason for him to train in.
I believe he had weapon fists on him, and I believe that's where I could be good for much longer.
No, I don't have that on. I was thinking of a completely different character. At that time, he's got Scion of the Land and Precise Strike through Nyx, and then he's got Disruptive Companion and Improved Natural Armor as his two feats.
well, so it was improved natural armor and
Disruptive companion.
Right, I can't remember what the first one does, but I'm just thinking, how much does improved natural armor grant
It's
him?
only one, I think.
Yeah, so swapping that out
Yep.
for armor proficiency would probably be a good idea.
Not really. Like,
Well,
the difference between proficiency and not, I guess, is like 2, but still.
I'm just thinking
Rama's gonna eventually be a lot more strength-based than Dex, so...
Yeah, it increases it by
Eventually, it's
1.
like
Meanwhile, if you were to
medium armor, I
put meanwhile if you were to put chain shirt barding on it, it increases AC by 4. So
Plus animal companions get natural armor bonuses just for leveling.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was just saying I could make him. Well, actually, I could make him a +4 with no armor check penalty.
Oh.
But the issue is that he has to have armor proficiency before he can wear armor.
Or else he takes a negative to attacks due to the armor check penalty, which there wouldn't be an armor check penalty.
Well, he does have a point. So if you want, you can just keep it as is. And what armor were you thinking of, Kroggle? Kroggle, you there?
We need to add a Sir Alchemist to help create it.
Okay, now I'm really curious about which armor it was.
Leaf armor. The elven armor.
I would still need armor proficiency for that, wouldn't I?
As he says, basically, if you don't have armor proficiency, you take the armor check penalty to your attack and other checks. But if it has no armor check penalty, then there's no problem. Same way mages get away with using a mithril buckler without taking the penalties, without having to get proficiency.
It'd be +3 armor with no drop in speed. +4 armor with a little bit of drop in speed. But still, it'd come out to be the same with the natural armor. Plus, there's a few ways that you can progress the natural armor thing.
Oh, okay, so I get what it... Because, okay, leaf armor has no armor check penalty, so it wouldn't apply to anything, okay.
Yeah.
And leaf armor is just alchemically treated leather and a bit of metal.
If
That'll work.
Yeah, if Verbatim doesn't mind making another alchemy check, then we can see if he can come up with the right compounds to make it work. Unfortunately, that one wouldn't, but you are allowed to try again in, say, equivalent to a 24 hours time, unless you want to. Yeah, that'll work then. So yeah, it'll take you about a week to have that armor ready.
I'm guessing most of that's waiting for the alchemy stuff.
Yeah, that and waiting for Rama to get back just so you can make sure it's all lined up and all that.
Cool. Then I want to make the signs too.
Okay, no problem.
Basically say, danger, do not step around here.
In what language?
Goblin.
Okay. Ah, the old fake out with the potential minefields, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put some mines around. I just need our trap person to come back.
Okay.
It's Eris, he's a trap maker.
Right. So, yeah, between you and Aaron, yeah, that's fine, you'll be able to make those.
I'll make it once he calls me Eris instead of trap maker.
Yeah. Let's see. So, now back to Emma and Aaron. Is there anything else you want to do, or do you want to get straight into the rituals?
Unless nobody else needs me for anything, I'll do the ritual.
Okay.
Yeah. And Emma will, again, ask her students if there are any volunteers to help with this.
There will be a few, yes.
Yeah. Mine will be there to learn.
Actually, I might have to switch out my feet anyways because it looks like improved natural armor doesn't stack with normal armor.
Yeah, it does. Natural armor is a completely separate bonus to AC bonuses.
Yeah.
Unless they've somehow worded the feat to say otherwise, but even then I would rule that it would, because natural armor has never had a problem with... yeah, natural armor is fine. Natural armor and regular AC can... Whilst they stack into totals, they are considered separate. They are considered separate modifiers. So you're fine.
Also, do we have anybody in the camp that has a strange obsession with insects?
What the fuck? Valid point. All right.
Okay. Not to my knowledge. If you want to go asking around, you can do.
Oh yeah, I'll ask people if they have, a liking to spiders.
Okay, I'm now really curious what you're trying to create at this point.
He's creating the world's first exterminator. We're good.
No, it's basically once we start getting druids, I want to find one that has an affinity towards insects, so they can talk to insects, the vermin. But I want to start basically raising spiders right now.
Are we going to be looking at futures of alchemically modified spider silk for armor?
Spider silk does soak up blood pretty well.
Once again, reasons why our program is almost certainly on somebody's watch list.
See Paragon out of the party for the idea of even slightly dealing with spiders like that.
Not a fan.
Well, sorry to all the arachnophobes in the audience.
And the party, apparently.
It's an inside job. Jazzy's the investigator.
Well, at least you'd be getting paid. At least you'd be able to get entertained and paid at the same time.
Everyone ready for the ritual to make undead something that will not happen in our base?
Sure. I'm down.
Okay, if we could get a knowledge arcane check from Emma and a knowledge religion check from Aaron.
Got this. Good enough.
Okay, here we go. How'd I roll a 5?
I mean, I rolled 3, so. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
it's all-
We are not having a good start to rolls.
Well, just remember, since you've got your students, you've got +6 on these because you brought students along. So 19 and 21. And so we're channeling it up, and there is a golden wave that passes out from the circle all over the mountain and to the borders of the camp. For a few seconds you can see golden runes seemingly carving themselves into the very fabric of reality, and once the lights settle, there does not actually appear to be any physical difference to the world, save that everything seems a bit more vibrant. At least
hell yeah.
at least until you go to the camp, where if you notice on the inside aspect of the stone wall, what little of it you can see when it's built around the palisade, there are golden runes carved into the white stone. Not so that anyone approaching from the outside would be able to see it, but basically on the inside wall.
After that ritual's done, I want to go to the graveyard.
Okay.
Do we have a graveyard in here?
On the map, it showed a graveyard.
Hold on, do you mean on the camp map?
Yeah.
No, we had that as a garden rather than as a graveyard, or at least this bit up
that's
here.
what Grovely mentioned before.
Yeah. I don't think he was here for that, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, anyone that died basically got mass graved in the river.
Yeah, they dumped him in the river.
Oh, that's why all the spirits were in the river. That makes sense.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. That's when I did my ritual to, like, pass them over.
Yes, it was, Yes, the hobgoblins are not one to treat their slaves well in life, let alone in death.
I'm just surprised they didn't dam the river just by bodies alone.
River's strong enough that it pulled them along, but it's basically where their bodies were supposed to come to rest that sort of bound them.
Yeah.
Fish is so big.
Well, that, and of course, yes, there are a lot of fish, so any bodies that did sink to the bottom will not have lasted long.
What did they do with the hobgoblin corpses? Burn them?
Either burn them, or depending on if they were of particular note, they would have sent them back to the family estate.
Is there like a burning ground?
Not a standard one. They would have probably done it if they'd have burnt any, which, as I say, most of them would have probably been sent back to their home, but if they had done it, it would have been down here.
We're also still on the city map.
Whoops. And for some reason I can't bring you guys over, just give me a second. Okay, they would have done, any burnings that they had done would have been done around here.
We need to make a graveyard then. Mainly so we have the best, well, not mainly, but one of the reasons why is so we have like the best defense against undead graveyard dirt.
Well, you've just... Well, yes, but graveyard dirt is chiefly because it's dirt from consecrated ground. So basically all the dirt within your camp is now consecrated, so you're fine for that.
Yep.
Okay, cool. No one can raise here, because I don't want to have to kill our own people the second time.
Hell yeah.
One thing I am doing is, well, a couple things. I'm also setting sort of a line of basically a line of sort of signals. Basically, I'll probably see if I can get some more signal horns or something that could light as a signal, basically from the basically if I call from the battlefield, I call for the dam to be released. People would be able to respond to be able to hear it from the control room.
Okay. Right, so you'd want to...
I'll also be bringing people in there, making sure to start having it be manned.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you can probably talk to either Kragel or Aaron about that, obviously, once you're back.
So, what do you two think? I'll just ask either of you if anyone wants to talk.
Sorry, say it again. I was reading.
I'm basically creating a line of signals to basically just, so in case we need the dam to be released, the line of signals, people who can signal to each other that we need to release the dam or alert something, other sorts of alerts that'll reach up there in the valley.
Okay. So my only question is, do you want it big and flashy, or do you want to keep it secret?
I think to get it done fast enough, it'd probably have to be flashy.
Or we just make it really loud.
And that's why I was saying signal horns.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that, or you can do like kind of what they did back then, like do like the fire pyres, light it all the way down so that you can see it. I mean, it's up to you. I don't know what you want to do. Either way.
I'll go signal horns.
I would say
the
with...
fires only have one downside. If the sun is right behind them, it's kind of a pain.
Yeah.
At night, it's amazing though.
Yeah, that's why I'm going signal horns again.
I would also say that in this close proximity, it's going to be quicker and easier to build the signal horns than it is...
Yeah, I mean,
all the series of pyres.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can start work on some.
See, what we need to do is we need to make a kazoo, a metal kazoo, and then enchant it with ghost sound.
Yeah.
And thus all the seriousness of signal horns is and all the majesty is taken out.
Okay, so now here's something that we could probably do too, is that we're gonna need help from Emma's casters. Is in certain areas have like them use alarm and have them on the horns to signal, because they'll be the quickest way for them to cast a spell out at a further distance, get the alarm, and then actually set off the horns to alert everybody else.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, Emma was thinking of something on that for her defensive team, because right now she's thinking of splitting her casters into two teams. One concentrating on more aggressive spells and the other for more defensive spells.
So what would be kind of cool too, if you could, Emma, so have them have the alarm spell obviously so that they can get alerted, but have them do some illusionary magic where they can hide their placement with the horns, so that when they don't get spotted, they can make all the noise they want.
Yeah.
So
the defensive team's gonna have silent image to hide all the casters.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to have them there, and at some point, it won't be for a while, but she eventually wants to do a ritual for both invisibility alarm and regular alarm.
There you go.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. And also, I believe I may have said this last session, but I'm not sure if it was remembered or not, but I've also had engineers working on repairing the watchtower in the ruin. That's made of the ruins.
yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember that. So yeah, that's no problem.
Yep, I was just making sure then. Yep. All right, I'm agreeing to play with all this. So yeah, we'll just get on that then.
So I'm just trying to think, what kind of horns are you thinking? Just portable ones, or the really big ones that sort of do the shake the mountain routine?
I'd say more portable horns.
Yeah.
Just in case those people start getting jumped, they can still get off the horn call and at least alert us if we're being attacked.
So not the kind that would get the attention of the local Dachshunds.
Definitely not.
Sorry, whenever someone mentions signal horns, my brain goes back to an old Two Ronnies skit.
So I'll need help from Verbatim to make the horn so that I'm in the right pitches and stuff. But I'll make some blacksmithing checks.
Okay.
It's Verboten, not Verbatim.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm sorry.
And if you want to make a perform, I suppose it would be a perform check, Verbatim.
Yeah.
So how many are you looking to make, to ask?
I'd probably be spending a while testing, just seeing how far it gets those horns, how it's like a sort of a safe distance where we can still hear the horns and have this at least get this spaced away from each other.
Okay, in which case, I would say probably just in case, you'd probably only need 4 to be heard well, but 8 I would say would be a good number just in case sort of thing.
Yeah, 8 sounds good then.
In which case, if you could just give me one more of each of the craft and perform checks again, Aaron, Verbatim.
Okay. Yep. So another sing check.
And I'll also be there coordinating what signals, like signals to activate the landslide, signals to blow the dam, all things like that.
Okay.
Or being attacked, things like that.
Okay, if you could give me I'm trying to think what's the appropriate thing for establishing a code like that.
Linguistics, easy.
Yeah, I
sure.
actually have points in linguistics.
Yeah, go with the linguistics then, because this is the first time I've seen a code develop a musical code developed. That's enough to get some basic instructions across.
I'll keep working with them on that then.
Okay.
It's taking a while.
If you want to make another quick check, we can say it's for the next week, so you can be working, sort of. Yeah, that's slightly better, and yeah, you should be able to have some general instruction, some general alerts encoded in the phrases, and some general phrases worked into the codes, depending on depending on notes and that sort of thing.
While that's going on, Emma's gonna go ask her casters. I mean, she's not gonna force anyone to teams. She'll kind of be going, alright, who wants to be on defense team? Who wants to be on offense team? And she'll be looking at her two
standouts.
Lorana and like her two best students and just ask, which one do you want to lead? She's basically saying they get to lead one team.
Yeah, Morana's definitely more interested in the offensive and Galland in the defensive. Go figure, the dwarf is the feistier of the two.
Too bad, you're switching teams.
Okay, and she'll have the defensive team work with Arisk on the codes, as well as trying to think of good spells.
Okay.
And she'll also be asking Nyx for archers who are good at casting Entangle, because she has a good idea for the defensive team, and some hunters to cast a combination of Grease and Entangle.
Oh, that is nasty.
One thing I will be telling at least the alarm users, always have one on the watchtower.
Yeah. Defense will also be someone on defense team will be tasked with keeping up the both invisibility alarm and the main alarm, and will probably be the main person in charge of the horns. Again, she's just going to kind of ask for volunteers. She's not going to force anyone to do anything. Just kind of go with what each person seems to be able to be best at.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Aaron. Slipped my mind to give you your standout character. Sorry, just been a busy week, but I will have that ready for before the battle. Sorry, only just realised that we were one short in the notable allies section. Sorry about that. swear this last couple of weeks has fried my brain. Well, more so than usual.
So that's the scrambled egg smell I'm getting.
Well, they are supposedly similar. Well, supposedly if you scramble brains and scramble eggs, they do come out about the same texture.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay. Emma will also be making arrangements for those who are not fighting to kind of start with the new history books, the new books, and just kind of put those in a safe space, as well as where a good safe space will be in case of emergency.
Right. Well, you've got the vault if nothing else. Not to mention the council to put things in lockdown if things get really bad.
Yeah, Emma's pretty much determined that no matter what happens, there will be survivors.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, even if you did lose, yeah, with the virtually inaccessible valley, which is, primed for food, and the city with the constant water supply, yeah, they could survive free for, well, decades.
Yep.
So Verboten's going to take the phosphorus that he's created, and he's basically trying to make a white phosphorus grenade.
I knew it was going to go there. I knew it was going to go there.
It's got a radius of 20 feet. It only does 2d6, but it can catch him on fire with a DC 15 failed reflex check, and then it just does a d6 over time.
I find it
Which
slightly
makes the phosphorus arrows too.
Yeah, I find it slightly surprising that white phosphorus only does 2d6.
I didn't want to make it over crazy, so.
Fair enough. I was just thinking. I wasn't sure if you'd actually found rules for it somewhere, because it wouldn't surprise me.
There are. It's the D20 modern.
Ah. Okay, so yeah, no problem. Sounds fair enough then. And what would the phosphorus arrows be doing? That Verboten's that Kragel's asking about.
That'd be up to him, I guess. An additional, well, I guess the initial, if it's going to be explosive arrow grenades, it'd be the same thing. It'd be 2d6 on the initial explosion, and then if they fail a DC 15 reflex save, it's additional d6 burning.
Yeah, I'd say we'll stick with just the explosive arrows and leave it at just the regular explosive arrows and leave it at that.
Well, I was thinking, like, have you ever seen a dummy get hit by a phosphorus round?
I've seen more than a dummy get hit with a phosphorus round, yeah.
Ooh, sorry to hear that, man. Cannot have been easy to deal with.
Well, didn't mean to bring everything down, it's just that, yeah. But yeah.
Oh yeah, that's basically what I was thinking about.
Yeah, I'd say we'll stick with the grenades for now. I'm thinking that, first time attempting making white phosphorus and all that, you should probably just stick to the stuff that's just going to be thrown rather than the stuff you're trying to attach to anything else.
I can soup up our arrows a little bit. I'm going to start using some craft alchemy and start making some poisons.
Okay. What poisons are you thinking of trying to make?
And considering he's the only one Eric's seen, he's probably going to use that like D6 con damage one, or whatever it was that we got before.
Oh, the black tear poison. Right. The one that stops magical healing. That will take a while to make, and it has some high checks to make it.
It's worth trying.
Okay.
You can't poison yourself by making the poison, right?
There's a 5% chance, and I'm a few bubbles off from getting the rogue talent that will stop that from happening at all.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so if Verboten and Aros could each make me craft alchemy checks.
Natural 20.
Okay, yeah, you're able to. Yes, you're able to make it.
How many doses am I looking at?
Probably only about 2. It's hard to make, and
That's fair enough. Hey, Nix.
Yes.
Care to have some poison for your arrows?
Sure.
I will point out that she doesn't have the poison application ability, so she will be risking poisoning herself applying it.
It's a 5% chance, so there's a fairly decent amount. That chance we can do this fine, and to be fair, neither do I.
No, but I'm just thinking about some of Nix's roles when it's come to certain things recently.
Okay, that is true.
Not to be harsh on you, Nix, but your luck has been foul the last couple of sessions.
Yeah, I know, so maybe I shouldn't.
Fair enough.
Right, and okay, and you'd be able to make half a dozen of the white phosphorus grenades with Batin.
Sounds good.
Okay, at this point I'm going to say that the first of the remaining 3 weeks has passed.
Okay.
And during the night of that would bring the next week, one of the alarms is sounded.
Grabbing my gear and rushing off.
Emma's having Quoth immediately fly over to the spot.
Okay. Well, as you emerge out from the city, you notice there appears to be a storm cloud overhead, which is surprising as it was clear most of the day. And as you round the corner from the valley going down into the camp, you realise that what you're seeing isn't a storm cloud, as you see trails leading up from the forest and dozens of lights all throughout the forest.
Fire.
I think we can see the enemy camp then, I'm guessing. I'll pull out my spyglass and try to get a better look.
You can't. They are still quite a ways out. This is just the smoke travelling from the various camps, and it's travelling far enough to be of note. They're still probably, as I say, a couple of weeks out, but it's carrying pretty far.
Can we get an idea of the size of the enemy force based on what we're seeing?
Anyone with survival, or anyone with survival, and in the case of Kragel, if he makes a knowledge dungeoneering check, you can try and guess. Or try and estimate.
Knowledge dungeoneering?
Knowledge dungeoneering for Kragel, otherwise it'd be survival.
Okay.
Because Kragel, dungeoneering was the closest I could get to a knowledge of tactics. Okay, and as I say, if anyone else wants to make survival checks.
Emma will at least try.
Okay. Oof.
And fail miserably.
Yeah, you've not got a clue, Emma.
Emma forgets how to breathe.
No, it's just a case of, ooh, pretty lights, and that's a lot of people, but I don't know how many.
Yeah.
She keeps trying to count them, but she just keeps stumbling over her numbers.
Okay, so is that everyone who's got survival? Alright, in which case...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Kragel, with your dungeoneering check, you've got a fairly solid grasp on the tactics and the numbers for gathering around a fire, particularly any fires this big. You're probably thinking, depending on what the enemy's bringing along, you could be looking at a force of anywhere from between 300 to 500.
I look over the rest of the group. I look at my bandolier filled with grenades. We need more explosives.
So we're gonna need to start trapping the path, hopefully. How many, just for my own reference, about how many soldiers do we have trained currently? At least roughly.
Roughly? Let's see, with the additional training you've been putting together, you've probably got about 100.
Alright, cool. We're just outnumbered 5 to 1. Okay.
Well, you are in a fortified position and you do have mages.
Yeah, but so do they. They got casters too.
Yes, but... Well, minimum of 3 to 1.
Emma's just gonna look at this and just go, well, on the plus side, they're gonna be underestimating us. We're not underestimating them.
Yes. And also, Emma, you do think that you could probably get Quoth to fly out and be back before the end of the day to one of their camps.
Alright. Emma's gonna go ahead and send Quoth.
Okay.
And is also gonna ask, go to Nyx and go, Nyx, before I send Quoth out, can any of your group summon other birds about close size? So we can make it look like it's a flock, just kind of flying over.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Can any of your people summon small birds, small ravens close size? And have them fly out so it would look like a murder. I don't know, it's not a murder of ravens. It's just look like a flock of birds to whoever's looking up. One bird may be a little suspicious. A flock, just kind of flying around, not so much.
Let me look. Hang on 1 second.
It's an unkindness of ravens.
An unkindness of ravens. Okay, thank you. Because I always know crows, just because I love thinking of a murder of crows.
Yeah, any hunt that I've trained can basically summon nature's ally to summon a crow or raven, and that should probably do the trick.
Yeah, if you summon a few of them, that should be fine.
Alrighty. And so, an unkindness of ravens. It's gonna fly out.
Okay, this isn't an exact Okay, what I'm going to show you isn't going to be an exact depiction of what they see, but it's sort of a general category of sort of the numbers for what they pick up in their scouting.
Alright. Lolly.
I was going to say, you might want to zoom out, just so you get...
Alright,
Yikes.
yeah, Quoth is gonna make a quick perception check to try and identify A, how many casters, and B, the people who look like they're in charge.
Okay, I'm going to say, I've not displayed the casters or those just because I was getting a bit rushed, but these are sort of the general forces, so, but make the perception check. But you'll be able to spot
19.
a couple. You'll be able to spot a couple, and I'll give you a close-up on some of the other things in general for the gearing and all that. So, from the non-named things that will be of note, well, we have the military arbalests, or crossbowmen. I think I've got this spelled right.
Okay.
The infantry. Hope you guys can see that all right.
Yep.
Yep.
Catapults. Yes, I know it is from. I know this one's from Warhammer, but it was the best mobile catapult I could find an image of.
Oh shit! The Tyranids are coming.
Wrong type of Warhammer. I'm talking fantasy battles, not 40k. Although, I am needing some sort of... No, again, I'm in the UK. I'm not risking the wrath of GW by using Tyranid art. Ballistae? Ballistia? They also have several ogres.
Alright. Did it look like there were any undead but undead?
No.
Are they baby ogres?
No, they should be large. I've just forgotten to scale them up.
Gotcha.
Hence why they were spaced oddly.
Actually, the ogres gives me a good idea. If we put traps head height for ogres.
I don't know if we're gonna have time for that.
Now this is one camp.
No, this is, as I say, this is just sort of general for what they find as they're scouting. I'm not making it one camp. I didn't have time to lay out the full camp design.
Okay.
Okay. Whew.
No, this is not one camp, otherwise you'd be fighting a lot more than the listed 300 to 500. Because there's, what? 235 plus the siege teams and ogres there.
Oh yeah, were you able to train any siege wizards?
I believe you were looking into it, and okay, so
Yeah,
you know, but let's see. So there's a couple that stand out. There are a few that will stand out, but these are the main three that stand out to you. This fellow, who is clad in very familiar red robes. Most likely making him a priest of some variety.
Or he's from the Spanish Inquisition.
I felt like it was supposed to be us Brits who made the constant Monty Python.
It's Monty Python. How did you know that?
Gosh.
I was more thinking, last I checked, it was supposed to be us Brits who made the constant Monty Python references.
You need to come to cons in America. You will hear at least 10,000 Monty Python jokes within the first hour.
I was about to say per hour.
And I will end up having to give a demonstration of why they are bad at hiding at that point. And funnily enough, nobody gets that reference.
And
This is what appears to be a hobgoblin. This is most likely a hobgoblin mage from the way she's dressed.
okay.
She looks like the perfect necromancer.
That's because there's very few hobgoblin mage art, and I had to use something that wasn't exactly normal. And this would be what appears to be the overall commanding officer.
Okay.
I really hope she is a necromancer coming into consecrated ground.
That would actually be hilarious.
One other thing to note. The cleric is carrying with him a long staff made out of a familiar-looking red crystal.
As in deity shards or whatever they're called.
No, similar to
the red crystal that had control over our collars.
Yeah.
Okay.
which was also a battery of sorts. So it could be a self-charging staff sort of thing.
Gotcha.
Okay. And so, was Quoth able to get at least a semi-decent head count? Is those all the casters, or does it look like there is any more?
It looks like there might be. It doesn't look like there are any other clerics, but it looks like there might be a couple of other mages. But they appear to be more apprentices to the albino hobgoblin. That's the one you've already seen.
Okay. How flammable does it look like? Do the siege engines look like they've been treated with anything to prevent the kind of arson that we're planning?
With the 19 perception you rolled, you couldn't really tell. Quoth wasn't able to get in close enough before some of the archers started taking pot shots, because whilst it's just birds are tasty to eat.
And to be fair, it's less pyromancer, it's more just a flat explosion.
Yeah.
It's very much sort of. And I think I just got agreement from the cat trying to cosplay Rama about birds.
I will say, while flying away, Quoth is going to possibly at least attempt to take a dump on whoever was shooting him at him.
Okay, fair enough.
Just as a fly-by dive bombing while they leave.
Right.
That's a true definition of dirty bomb.
Oh. So yeah, they're still about 2 weeks out.
Alright.
But yeah, I thought that might bring home sort of what you're dealing with.
Alright. Quoth will fly back, and Emma will share the information. And she will kind of turn to Aaron and just ask, do you want my team to also focus on the cleric, or would you rather that be something you deal with?
I don't know enough about the clerics to determine that, so I think we should work as a team.
Fair enough. I just wanted to ask because I'm going to try and I'm just going to try and make sure that we incapacitate any magic on the field. Wasn't sure if there was anything you wanted to know about.
No, I agree. It's just I don't know the full extent of my powers yet, so I can't determine how strong their clerics are.
Okay. And Emma would have been working on trying to get at least one siege wizard.
Okay, that's
Not sure if she would have actually found it though. So
I'm just gonna have to double check the details on the siege wizard again, because it's gone from my brain at the moment.
Yeah. So.
Because I can't remember what the actual details of the archetype were and whether it'd actually be useful. Siege mage, that was it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. It'd only really be useful if you decide to build your own siege engines.
Yeah.
So it depends on if you guys want to put time aside to build siege engines.
Well, I mean, I don't think we're gonna get siege engine in like a couple hours.
You've got a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have that.
We can build one.
Would also depend on what type of siege engine you were looking to do.
Catapults are really easy to make. Or we can just make a giant crossbow.
Ballista.
Yeah.
Sure.
I say, yeah, but that depends on, with the rules from Pathfinder, what size category you're looking to do. Because the actual assembly doesn't take too long, depending on which size you're looking to do. It's just making the actual parts that take longer.
Yeah, this may be something that we're going to have to do for the future.
We can make a light catapult, can't we? In 2 weeks.
Yeah. You could probably get a light catapult if you were looking to make it a stationary one.
Yeah, and just have that be the position for the one wizard we have. We have one wizard.
We have one wizard to rule them all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. No nicknaming him Saruman then.
No.
Also, we need him on like the top of the tower with the siege enemy behind him, like within 30 feet, so he can just fire it with his hand. Just.
Yeah, pretty much. The one person on the defense team whose job is okay. If everything goes tits up, you're the one to make sure that they don't get across the walls. Although again, she would have been asking for a volunteer for anyone who'd want to learn this particular thing.
Yeah, you'd probably get one person.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely of the twitchy-eyed and slightly bonkers variety.
He comes up and she's like, I get my own catapult?
Yes. Why do I get the feeling since he has to forsake 3 schools of magic that evocation will not be amongst them?
And we'll just shrug and go, alright, we'll work, and she'll actually be she'll be assisting.
Yes, I will create a custom token for the Siege Mage. I need to find appropriately bonkers token art.
Just look at like 90% of gnomes.
Yeah, I get the feeling this person's probably, and I do get the feeling that no one would be very much what we end up with.
Oh great,
He's the next Victor from Critical Role.
I was thinking it was probably going to be a gnome with a Napoleon complex.
No, he can still be a gnome. I'm just saying he's going to be the next Victor.
Yes, and Emma will smile and go, this is only to start with. We'll eventually get to a clockwork version that'll have automatic loading and firing.
Oh, and here I was thinking you were going to take a cue from Acquisitions Inc. and get the magic energy spewing ballista.
It can be that too.
Oh god, it's going to be a cross between between my bolt thrower from the Tal'Darai game and a giant version of Bianca from Dragon Age.
Yep.
If you want to think of something awesome, they have these
Actually, no.
to shoot.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be these giant weapons that would shoot basically blades out, like blades for a saw.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I've seen those. They're awesome.
Oh, and I was just thinking.
Gonna make a Ripper from Dead Space.
Oh, and here I was thinking
Yes.
we're going to make Detritus's favoured siege breaker longbow.
Yeah, this is.
Oh.
This is pretty much. This guy's eventually going to be a very dangerous person.
Yes, and I think I've found the image, but I'm just going to share it in our chat before I show to the general group later. So,
Oh yes, show.
so let me know what you guys think, or if you think I've gone too far with this one.
improve.
All right.
I think that's pretty low.
What is this?
That's
Player
more-
text.
in player
That's
text.
gonna be the siege wizard.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd only be a little bit better if you had one glass eye.
It would, but you gotta work with what we can find. That works very well.
All the rest of the ones that I thought looked vaguely wizardly, he had this whole, you know, nice and smiling gnome routine, and it's sort of, yeah, that could work, but I'm just thinking, we want something that's got the properly, yes, we let this guy in charge of a siege engine. No, we don't need to be questioned at all.
At this point, I'm probably going to be getting with the engineers, probably start doing things like loading a wall on the outside of the, like a wall filled up with arrows, with spots for buckets of arrows, rocks piled up, maybe even get some tar boiling.
So you're looking to make a murder corridor.
Oh, that was part of the drawbridge. I said I was going to have murder holes.
Yep, of course you did.
And I'm also going to have that just spread out periodically across the wall, the entire wall itself.
By the way, we need the drawbridge to go the other way.
Other way how?
It needs to draw down.
Why?
That way, who's ever on the bridge can just be dropped.
Well, you should have said that before I finished the thing. Before we finished the damn thing.
Not to mention, you have just made me not to mention, you just invalidated the thing where I went and bought a specific pack just to get the what I believe to be the appropriate drawbridge art.
It's all good. It's imagination-based, guys.
Yeah, I just prefer to try and be as accurate as I can with my maps and where possible.
Yeah.
Where,
I appreciate it, Chris.
where my lack of artistic talent does not prevent it.
And I believe they're about 2 or so weeks out for Bakken.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, to say days or weeks?
Weeks.
Weeks, okay.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, getting this many soldiers in heavy armor to move is kind of a slow process.
Once they start nearing my trap spot, I'm probably gonna go all out and just bring probably a good portion of my scouts with me.
Okay.
And we'll also send Quoth out with them just kind of as emergency backup in case they need someone to do something spellcasty.
Oh yeah, should we tell the bandits to come in at a certain time?
Speaking of the bandits,
goody!
About 3 days in about about a day or two into the most recent week, you actually have one of the bandits arrive.
Oh my gosh, this will be the first time the bandits have seen our camp!
Yeah, stone walls and all.
So how loose is his jaw right now?
Fairly, I will say that much. It's one of those. They weren't joking.
Yeah, we have glowing walls.
Well,
Come
no,
on.
the walls were glowing internally, not externally.
Yeah. They can't see on the outside.
You can barely see it
Look
on
at
the
this.
inside because you've got a palisade inside the stone wall because, well, you need
Yeah.
ramparts somehow.
Once Emma realizes, she'll go down and kind of greet them at the front going, hello, would you like to come in?
Sure.
And as soon as they come in, the guy sees all the glowy bits.
Yeah. Just for reference, it's a distinctly flabbergasted-looking halfling who introduces himself as Gulwick.
Hello, and
Greetings. Wow, you kind of undersold the camp.
We've done some upgrades.
Oh yeah, most of the stuff was just built last week. Don't worry about it.
Again, he doesn't say anything, but he's trying his best not to go bug-eyed.
I'm also wearing my bandolier of grenades.
Yeah, and Emma was on the wall trying to help our twitchy new wizard about the best place to put the cat, where he wants to put the catapult.
Meanwhile, I'm off to the side arguing about how hot we need the tar.
At least it's only tar. I still say my molten sugar idea is worse.
Oh, it's absolutely worse. I know there's no way I could justify us having that much sugar cane.
This is... Well, you could do beet sugar instead, although, again, it would be hard to justify.
Yeah.
But for future reference, for anyone who's doing a fantasy setting and they're looking for anti-siege weaponry, yeah, turn beets into sugar, put sugar in the cauldrons above the murder holes, and then just have a mage ready with a frost-based spell. Set
we have
the
a bunch
candy.
of sand. I mean, we can make glass.
This is true. It's just funnier to actually be able to candy your enemies.
Yeah. Alright. So, Golwick, what brings you here? And if you keep looking like that, your face is gonna stay that way.
He gives a quick shake of the head, trying to get his face back in order.
I shove a beer in his hand.
Thank you. Chief Caladina sent me. Don't know if you noticed. We think they'll have probably been close enough on your end to have seen him last night. I mean, I've been on the travel for a while now, but we thought they'd probably be in line of sight by now. But yeah, the enemies come out in force.
Yeah. Catapults, ogres, crossbowmen, archers, heavy soldiers.
Wait,
At
they've
most-
got ogres?
Casters. And Emma goes, and a few casters.
Ah.
At most 500, at least 300.
Again, he goes bug-eyed because that's more than they normally have stationed at the fort. That means they've called in extra, and they never had ogres.
Well, they might have seen a little thing. Quick question. A few weeks ago, did you guys notice the river here glowing? Did any of your scouts see that?
Yeah, that was you.
Yeah. Trying to do a little defense, and well, sometimes magic just kind of decides to do what it wants.
Okay. Well, that definitely means I have to say what I was going to. Chief Caradina was... She knows we haven't actually had any major dealings, but she wanted me to check what fortifications you had, and, well, they've been sending scouts out and some of their scouts have been out hunting our own, and we're sorry to ask this so early, but we were hoping for sanctuary. We're happy to help fight, but fighting that much out in the woods, it isn't going to end well for us.
You guys know how to make defenses in the woods, right?
Yeah, but there's only so much you can do against that many.
Oh no, because I'm going to ask a favor of you if we agree to sanctuary, but we have to talk between each other.
Aye, of course. Ogres. Casters. Next you'll tell me they've got a bloody flame bearer with them.
They do.
Is that red dress guy?
Most likely.
Yes, it is, and he just goes very pale and starts downing the beer whilst muttering into it.
Well, so you could safely start bringing your people into the camp as soon as possible.
So we're good with sanctuary?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're willing to fight, so yes. We're going to need as many possible to man the walls.
We need an outside area in which we can set up defense. It needs to be camouflaged. The Wolf Riders will be better hitting the back line than the front line.
Wait, Wolf Riders?
Yeah, they're over there.
Yeah,
And she'll point to all the people who are tending their mounts.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going to shock him more: the halflings who are caring for wolves, or the others that are caring for the giant goats.
Say hello to our cavalry.
Just to say, he now has an eye twitch.
I look over at him. I'm like, "Hey, you used to be our siege guy."
We have the gnome tied up in a corner in a straitjacket and try and keep him off his siege weapon.
Oh.
And don't worry, the man will be safe, reliable. Well, maybe not sane, but he'll be able to do some nice magic.
Looking over at the gnome, you're teaching him magic.
Yes, specifically seats. Yes, he's actually he's gonna be able to do some nice magic with a siege weapon. For some reason, he wants to call it Bianca.
I'll get you another beer.
I had him another beer.
You could just hear him. For those of you with particularly good hearing, just say, "Trust in Boss Caradina. Trust in Boss Caradina." Your first new ally, and you've already given him a nervous breakdown. I think that's got to be a record.
Well, better now than on the battlefield.
Do you think, quick question, do you think you'll be able to warn your fellows that things might be a little strange around here, so they don't also have a nervous breakdown?
Aye, I'll pass it on. We're only a few days out. Figured if you weren't aiming for sanctuary, we could at least find somewhere in the mountains to hold up and make it hard of them to find us.
We've got a few extra backup spots in case this place falls anyway.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. An entire city that they have no idea where it is, for instance.
We're just going to do something like we're going to disappear into the map for a couple decades and then immediately just come back and start slowing the camp every few decades.
That would distinctly slow down the pace of the campaign, but it would be a fun one in of itself. However, I'm not derailing Forging the New Gods that much, no matter how much fun it might be.
Alright. And once Emma sees that the guys calm down a little bit, she'll get back to helping the gnome.
Right.
Okay, so where's the best... Okay, so where do you think I'll be able to do max damage?
He starts muttering. The gnome starts muttering to himself, and he is probably one of the engineers, and he eventually he's not sure, and he starts looking around to spot either Arask or Verbatim.
Yeah.
What was that?
And basically goes, any chance one of you two's got a spare sextant lying about?
I don't have one.
Not particularly. We're not at sea here.
And we'll just sign go, come on, let's get you a kit and we'll make sure a sexton's part of it.
Thank you. It's need to judge the range somehow.
Trigonometry?
Yes, but sextant's better for on the fly.
As this is a wind down. I go over and look back to the group I'm trading. Go, no, aim higher. And I go over to a bunch of halflings who are busy attacking the crotches of a bunch of dummies.
We have such a fun bunch of people under us.
Oh, the society that this lot are going to spawn.
When we send back the halfling, we should send him back on one of the goats.
Well, we have one of the riders accompanying him. Well, I'm sure things will calm down once we're not under immediate threat of genocide.
You say with the entire continent against you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, at least after this siege you can start sending agents out and don't have to do all the jobs yourself.
Yeah. The terrifying thing is, it's only gonna get crazier. We're only gonna have more insane attacks on us after this. This is...
Well, considering you're probably going to have wiped out a military base after this, you'll probably have quite the leeway.
Yeah. And more siege wizards.
Once they can see what this guy does, yeah.
Oh, and thus we have... Why do I foresee the Order of the Twitching Eye being a thing in the future version of this setting?
Well, again, Emma right now is pretty much taking anyone who wants to learn as long as they can actually learn.
Oh, that's fair. I was just having a joke, but I can imagine it quite easily. Be, you know, a siege mage order just being named after this guy being the Order of the Twitching Eye.
And again, Emma would actually approve of that. Because this guy is technically the first archetype she has trained.
Yeah. And it is going to be a terrifying thing to see. You will, of course, still need a couple of people to act as siege engineers, but you can train them up as you're building the siege engine. Which, by the way, I'll need some people to make engineering checks.
I'll help with that, considering I'm just waiting until the enemy's army is in place for my trap.
Alright.
Emma will assist with the knowledge engineering as well to help her new siege mage. And a 1 really, really terrible today. What the hell?
At least we're not doing. At least we've not gotten to combat yet.
Don't worry, I'll roll 2.
Uh-huh. Okay. Anyone else make an engineering check?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with those, you will have probably, not including the days that they might be delayed. You'd probably have it ready about 5 days before they're set to arrive.
And as they're nearing my trap date, I'm gonna go to Verboten and Groggle and go, hey, I need some help. I was originally planning to just be hitting their sieges and their food supplies, but at this point, I don't think I could stand to be so surgical. Want to help me bring the valley down on top of all of them?
Oh, quick question. When do the other bandits show up?
They show up about 3 days after the halfling departs.
Yeah.
What did you have in mind there, Eric?
Well, I originally brought down a boulder. It was brought down a pathway in a very narrow valley that would slow them down. Basically, just give me an opportunity to hit their siege weapons and their food supplies. That should slow them down enough. So hopefully, the idea is we'll go over there, sneak around the top part of the valley, set up a bunch of explosives, and try to collapse it down onto them.
All right.
I know there's various sorts of very invasive fungi. Maybe we can find some of them.
It's a little out of my league, but yeah, go ahead.
That would be survival checks and knowledge nature, so you'd probably want Nyx along with that.
I can help with the survival.
Emma will ask, would you like Quoth to go over and set burning hands, sneak in and set burning hands on a few of the siege engines while everything else is kept busy?
Actually, can Quoth pull a pin on a grenade?
Yes, he can, but my bigger question is, can it be on a timer and not blow him up?
Yeah, well, I mean, if he drops it, then he wouldn't need to worry about it.
But yes, he can do that.
Yeah, if he can pull the pin when you tell him to and then drop it, we can basically drop the white phosphorus burning grenades on top of the siege engines.
And the ogres.
Don't worry about the ogres.
Well, you guys would have to tell him precisely where to pull the pin, but yes, he can pull the pin. He just needs to know where.
Right.
That'll be fine. Anyone else want to join me for blowing a bunch of stuff up?
And G Marshall, thanks very much for following.
Oh, yay!
Awesome. Glad to have you here.
Happy! You get a cookie.
I already have my backpack ready.
Imaginary cookie, but you get a cookie.
I say, if we could send out the actual things, I would, but I am not the most skilled when it comes to baking, mainly through lack of practice.
I can make cookies.
So can I.
Hey, Chris.
I've actually got it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nyx.
Would Nyx have enough time to train a couple more people, or no?
Well, considering you had a couple of weeks, and yeah, if you wanted to have included that, that's not a problem. Yeah, if you want to try and you're looking for rangers or hunters?
Probably a mix of both.
Okay, give me a survival check for rangers and a knowledge nature check for hunters.
I've actually got some frozen peanut butter chocolate chunk cookie dough in my freezer currently.
Closest only frozen stuff I've got in the freezer that's stuff I've made is remnants of my Spanish style chicken, spaghetti bolognese, well, Italian style rice more bolognese style rice more likely, and mole, I think.
Not bad.
Yay, we have.
Yeah, I'm more.
Oh yeah, and our dragonborn person, he's being trained in archery.
Is that what you want trained as?
Oh yeah, because if we can get him the gloves, that'd be amazing.
Oh god, I just have a horrible idea.
Okay.
Because there's gloves that'll turn his arcane strike into AoE damage.
Okay, next you'll be able to get.
A bunch of Zen archers.
You don't have anyone that counts as a monk yet.
Sadly.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of us are. I don't think any of us could have a lawful domain right now.
No, when.
Why do you say that?
As I was going to say. Okay, next you're able to get 2 more rangers and 5 more hunters.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and some of my free time I want to help out with the recruiting process that my one fighters are doing.
Okay. Okay, so you want to help recruit with your drill sergeants doing a recruiting run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you want to make another knowledge engineering check then.
Oh yeah, and I want to motivate people by making them realize that without enough fighters, we're all going to die.
So that would be I believe I gave you perform oratory, didn't I?
Jeez.
I was thinking intimidate.
Oh my gosh.
How?
If you want to try and intimidate them, you can. Although that may lower morale overall, and you are aware of that because you are a god of war.
No, I probably won't do that. I'll probably just try and intimidate some people into it.
You're all going
If they're
to
on the
die.
bench.
Please.
If they're on the bench.
You mean on the fence? I'm guessing.
Yeah, if they're on the fence. Sorry.
I say if they're on the bench, that means that's a sporting term rather than a last I checked.
To be honest, I wanted to recruit some fighters of my own, more of the religious side of the fighters.
Okay, so you're looking to create either war priests or paladins?
Yes, but obviously they don't have those abilities yet. But fighters that aren't into the research type, like my philosophy.
Oh, yeah,
clerics.
that's not a problem if you want to make another knowledge religion check then.
Yeah.
For zealots?
They'll be zealots, but I'm trying to get the fighters now, and then they'll turn into paladins or war priests.
Yeah. Emma has her one mate, the one guy who looks like he'll be a good magus, but she's not gonna force him. She's gonna kind of go, once we're done with this, then we'll go into lessons, okay?
Okay.
Same thing with the person who is her eldritch rogue.
Yeah.
The wizard rogue, who will eventually be her first arcane trickster.
Yes, which will be a very frightening thing to behold. Okay, you're probably able to get a dozen or so fighters recruited, Aaron.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, what do you want me to roll for?
Dungeoneering.
The one thing.
And for the actual recruitment, and then if you want to actually try and get the people off the fence, you can either do oratory or intimidate if that's really what you want to do. As I say, intimidating people into it will lower morale.
You will fight for me.
Yeah, so he's doing the Celebrimbor impression then.
People, they're probably not the most diplomatic.
Charismatic.
Yeah, but other people could do the same thing more nicely.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you'd probably be able to get another half dozen recruits. Just from the general, going around and trying to get people interested. And
Actually, I just realized this. I think Emma's probably the nicest person when it comes to recruitment, because she's just like, you want to learn? I'll teach. If you don't want to learn, that's fine.
yeah, I was going to say. And so overall, you've probably gone up to, with the inclusion of the bandits, you've probably gone up to about 150 fighters.
Sweet. Oh, while all this is going on, Emma will again, now that the bandits can see Emma's students, she will kind of go, by the way, if any of you guys want to learn, I'm willing to teach. And she'll and the twitchy guy will be walking by, hugging his ballista trigger. As you can see, I'm not picky about who I teach.
Yeah.
By the way, these half dozen, I want to make them slightly insane. I want to make them.
Berserkers?
No, I want to make them Eldritch Guardians, but I want their familiars to be Figment familiars. So they have imaginary friends that appear.
Okay, Figment familiar. I need to look those up because I don't think I've come across those before.
Oh my god. That's gonna be amazing.
I have not heard of this.
It's pretty funny, actually.
Oh, it's a familiar archetype.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You can do that. You can, yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, and does anybody stand out about these people? The half a dozen, 6 of them.
I'm just trying to think.
Is someone snoring?
No, sorry. I got a bit of a cold. I'm trying not to sneeze. Please excuse me.
My sympathies.
It's Carbon.
Snoring? What?
That's what it sounded like. It was just probably just you breathing into your mic.
I was gonna say, snoring seems a little weird.
Yeah,
I mean, admittedly, with how
sorry,
tired some of us are, I wouldn't put it past, just because, well, nothing else. Emma's got dealing with the post-mass travel.
Yeah, I got in at 10, slept until 1.
Yeah, ouch. Here's hoping you can get a decent amount of sleep tonight.
As someone is playing What is Sleep?
Yeah, that's...
Trust me, my dog's not letting me get up. She's just laying, and every time I try and stand up, she just kind of plops her head on my legs.
They might be a little bit on the wild-eyed side, but I'm not sure if you want something specific to stand out about them, then you can have that. But I wasn't planning to have anything specific stand out about them.
Oh no, I don't expect a special person or anything like that. I'm just letting me look like he's more I want to punch something in the face than all the rest of them.
The eager one, got it.
Yeah, you could probably find most likely a dwarf, but yes, you can probably find someone who can act as a sort of a charge leader.
Well, no, I want to train him somehow differently.
Oh, what were you thinking for that?
I was going to see if I can't make a brawler.
Potentially. It's a bit more out of your wheelhouse, but you could probably do that. Might take a bit longer to get him up to form on that than it will to train him for weapons, depending on how you were looking to do it. Just because whilst Brawler technically falls in, it'd be more if you had the strength domain already that it'd fall into that wheelhouse more than it does the war wheelhouse.
Oh yeah, that's the reason why I'm only looking at one.
Yeah, it will take longer to train that than it would any of the others.
Yeah, I expected that.
Meanwhile, while this is going on, Eris is having to show Katarina and her people all the weird stuff that they've been up to.
Yes.
She's going to go through all the madness.
Yeah. Karadina's well, she's both impressed by the fortification, sort of going, how in the hell did you manage this? I mean, I know you've got magic, but damn, sort of moment.
We're inventive, to say the very least.
Quite. Although from what Gulwick tells me, not as necessarily always in control of the creativity. With the whole glowing river incident.
Yeah, but little doubt we didn't exactly know how exactly that would show up. We're still exploring some of these powers to figure them out.
Yeah. Oh, she's also introduced you to her second in command, Janara. Can you see that alright, or?
Yep.
Just checking.
Yep.
Cool. So who's apparently got some expertise in, well, she's got some expertise in certain...
Chris, I can't really catch that.
It's alright, it was more that I'm tripping over my own tongue at the moment than anything else. Ugh. I love when you get garbled.
Yeah, it happens, man.
And she's got a bit of skill in making traps and snares and all that sort of thing, so if you need any help with that, then talk to her.
Oh, Emma will kind of take a break from teaching and kind of go over to this conversation and just ask, quick question. Were you told what the river now is able to do?
No, well, you didn't mention it to Gulwick, so I just know that you're the ones who made it glow.
Yes. Fire spells are not going to be able to cross the river. And it can now actually stop any bleeding damage.
Alright then, that's bloody useful.
Wait, doesn't it also make the animals more docile towards us?
Yes, and the animals in the river are more docile, as long as you don't try to do anything aggressive toward them.
So it's alright up until you try and catch one of the little buggers.
I don't know if it's just me, but is anyone else breaking up?
Nope. Just you, bud.
I'll exit and re-enter the call then.
No problem, man.
I can probably help you out with that, Froggle.
Sweet. He is gonna easily bathe in poison for a little while.
I mean, all you need to do is ask for help from my plant masters.
Alright, what archetype are you trying to make there, Kroggle?
A venom fist.
Ooh!
We have to start building something like Scarecrow style, a syringe gun, gloves for everyone.
Sorry, did I just hear you say you want to make a syringe gun?
Gloves.
Ah, syringe gloves. I was going to say, last I checked we were not in TF2.
Oof.
For now.
Well, no, we've already unleashed the heavy weapons Triton in your other game. We don't need to unleash anything TF2 in this one.
I thought I was going to make the pyro.
Isn't that just for batting?
Yeah, but he doesn't have a flamethrower yet, or a suit.
Oh, sorry, just he's doing a Gestalt game where he's playing a Arask is playing in a 5e game where he's a Gestalt Oath of the Ancients Paladin Berserker Barbarian, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
A what?
It's
Never mind.
from 5e.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I'll explain it to you after the game.
Quite possibly the most broken combo I've seen in a while. That aside. Okay, so anything else? So obviously you've got a couple of weeks of, well, you've got about a week and a half of varying prep now, so is there anything else you guys were looking to do?
A couple of alchemical items I'm going to try to make.
Okay.
Black finger paste for Nyx, so she can apply that poison without any problems.
Okay.
I'll try and train up a few more rogues.
And then also some liquid ice.
And actually, nah, I'm gonna go Slayers this time. I've been training up enough rogues.
Okay, that'll be I think I had you doing knowledge local last time, didn't I, for that? If I remember correctly.
I think possibly. I think stealth was for rogues.
Yeah,
so
it was.
So I guess local.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, if you get a lot of Slayers, can I have one of them?
Why?
There's a Slayer thing for training up some shield people.
Oh, at least you're not going with what I thought you were.
First.
For a minute, I thought you were going to be seeing if any of them had ogre blood to try and do the ridiculous vital strike build.
Ooh, I have a better idea. Can you start trading up Titan Maulers?
Oh God.
Only gnomes can be Titan Maulers.
Oh.
They get the bonus every time.
Yes.
And thus we begin discussing how to break the game properly with cheesiest of cheese builds.
Just saying, it works every time.
Hey, I am being restrained and not doing summoners.
Yes, because it stops me having an aneurysm. Dear God, since this summoner barbarians, what next? Oh.
Yeah, cause darn it.
I remember. Worst thing I've ever seen was someone, because they got offered a chance in a Gestalt game. It was on the Paizo forums. I think it's since been deleted. Someone wanted to do a Synthesis Summoner Natural Weapon Magus Gestalt.
Ooh, that would have been wonderful.
It would have been broken as all hell, hilarious to watch, but I would not have envied the DM. I also wouldn't have had...
So, let's get on with the...
Yeah.
Alright. With us trying to blow up as many siege engines as possible.
My 2 Sky Stalkers can now help with that.
Anyone else hear a weird squeak?
I think it was one of the kittens.
That was a jet. Sorry.
It's fine, just...
All I do is hear Sky Stalkers, then meow!
Attack of the Flying Cats, what next?
I wish.
That'd be adorable.
We just started having the Sky Stalkers dropping bags of wet rabbit cats on top of people.
If we could figure out how to do it, an army of trained cats, oh my god, that'd be great.
Yeah, I don't want to think about how many checks you'd have to make in animal handling in order to train cats.
You know what? If we want to work with some biological warfare, if we just kill some animals, we can let them rot.
Okay.
It's definitely a good idea.
I think we have some lines we can't cross.
Yeah.
Or just find a dead animal, just rotting dead animal, and just shoot it at the people.
Yeah, that only works from the other side. That's more siege breaking warfare than it is siege using warfare.
Yeah. Okay, so Emma will have Quoth go with the group with.
Oh, and Aros, you've probably got another half dozen slayers.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, and once the session is over, remind me I need to double check you what numbers of people I have, but that can wait.
Yeah, I'll need to double check over the episodes to remind myself of exact numbers because it's been a while.
Yeah, right now Emma has 11 people counting the siege wizard. Yeah. And that is not counting the magus that she's going to be training up later and the Eldridge rogue that she's going to be helping with later because they need more extensive training and there's just not time for that right now.
Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah, everyone just starts seeing 2 hippogriffs walking around the camp.
And I was just gonna kind of go, Nix, where'd you find those?
She's like, well, ask them. They told me they came out of nowhere. And she points at the 2 that has them.
Oh.
Dibs on the baby if they make one.
You and magical animals as pets.
I didn't even get to the point where after the training cat stroke, I was considering trying to find some displacer beast.
No can do. Property of Wizards of the Coast. Closest I can get you is Duoma cats.
Nah, never mind.
I don't know. Dwarven cats are pretty badass. They're basically fey panthers.
Are those the ones that can do anti-magic?
I'm trying to remember, but I know you can get them as an improved familiar. Or that you can get a cub version of them.
And...
Which is awesome in and of itself. Let's see. Dwarven cat...
They're CR7, so that's going to be a while.
Yeah. Dwarven... Let's see. When a Dwarven cat is targeted by... Oh yeah, whenever... They aren't necessarily anti-magic, but they do have the funny bit of being able to, whenever someone tries to target them or catch them in an AoE, they can teleport to a square adjacent to the caster.
Spell-like ability 3 times per day, anti-magic field.
Yeah.
Toggling them into the massive spellcasters from our enemy.
Well, we now know what Emma's going to be worried about if we ever got to face it.
Yeah, particularly as they've got spell resistance 19.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I just found the Dwarven leap ability funny. It's sort of, oh, you tried to cast a spell at me. I'm right next to you.
Then her owner cast inflict wounds on her. Drew her.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Alright. Alright, so Emma's just gonna go. So you guys gonna go and start blowing things up?
I got my backpack ready.
I'll get some as well.
Okay.
Hopefully we can... Okay, we'll say the plan is to hopefully bring the... I'm going to try and at least focus the explosives around the pile, which is hopefully, since they got the ogres, they're probably going to move those up there to try and clear the path. Then wherever the siege weapons end up being stolen while they're in the valley.
Okay. Well, the siege weapons are mobile, so they'll be part of the column.
Yeah, I figured.
Then again, I'm probably the slowest of the group, so if stuff hits the fan, I'll be able to run with you guys.
I'm slow too because of my armor.
I am not slow.
Says the guy with the travel domain.
Yeah, maybe see if we can get some of the dire goods brought with us.
So what you're saying is we need to shoot the guy in the leg that's fastest.
Well, I would say, yeah, you'd be easily able to get...
If you want to blow up in a big explosion, sure, go ahead.
As I was going to say, you'd be easily able to get some of the goat cavalry to travel with you.
Yeah.
Yep, just put Corognal and Aaron on the back of them when we need to get away.
Mm-hmm. Quoth will... You guys will see Quoth fly up, and he'll have a little bag for the grenades.
Alright.
And thus the hobgoblins were the first to begin developing anti-air weaponry.
And he'll kind of look at you guys as if, okay, I need grenades and instructions.
Wait a minute, we're actually probably going to have there maybe like a day or so before so we can start setting them up, setting it all up.
That's not a problem.
Make some adjustments once they arrive.
Yeah, Verboten will kind of take the bag.
Okay, once you arrive, you've got...
Keep it on himself until it's time to put it on.
Okay. Just to say, once you arrive, obviously if you want to set up a hide or anything like that, you can do.
Yep, set up a hide. I'm probably going to have archers on both sides of the top of the valley.
Okay.
As we were wiring explosives, I want them in position with fire, but at the moment they see the fuse going, they are to get back.
Okay.
I don't want to risk losing a single one of them.
If anyone in the group who has stealth or disguise can make rolls with those to try and create the hide.
Alright, Quoth will roll a stealth check. As soon as I get to his page. Alright.
Okay.
Come on, Quoth. Be awesome.
you're able to build a couple of solid hides that look like natural shrub work, but allow you to basically have near total concealment from on top of the valley.
We'll start setting up the blasting gel, then once that's set up, we'll move into the holds, the hides.
Okay, so...
Since I'm proficient with all, like, weapons like that, you know those 2 stones with the rope?
Bolas?
Bola.
The ones that wrap around, like, people's legs?
Yeah, that's a bola.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Bola.
Okay, I'm gonna make a few of those with the grenades.
Oh my goodness, that's gonna be...
And the dwarf just invented a new form of kneecapping.
Oh, yeah, but you've got to remember, if you ever use them you've got to remember, if it wasn't someone inventing them, and you actually saw them used anywhere, you know they would kill more users than they would people targeted with them.
Yeah.
It'd be like the most stupid thing I ever saw on Pinterest was apparently someone has made, I think they were a 38 caliber, might have been less than that, but they were gun chucks.
Apparently someone wants to really, really prove Darwin was wrong.
Or someone really likes Ruby.
Well, it's definitely a way of getting the Darwin Award.
True.
I mean, I don't know, it could have just been very good, Photoshop put together, which, just as a cool design thing rather than an actual someone has made this thing. I'm not sure, I didn't follow the link because the level of stupid was making my head hurt. But yeah. Sort of like, because it looked like they had a pressure-based trigger, so if you squeezed around them whilst you were swinging them, they fired, and it's like, yeah, that's not going to make you go ouch very quickly, not at all. Alright, so that aside, so if you could make, if those of you with it could make knowledge engineering checks for placing the charges most effectively. Hey Nix, welcome back. Okay, yeah, and then if you could make me some stealth checks to try and obscure them. Yeah.
Oh, that was engineering, but my engineering's the same.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, so those bombs are very well hidden. And if you want to make me another separate engineering check, Kragel, for making those grenade bola.
We just kick him out of the camp as soon as we see what he's working on.
Oh, I'm just thinking how they'd work. I mean, are they meant to be a collision detonation, or are they meant to be that when they finish wrapping around, they pull the pins?
Probably the second one, because that's the only one I can think of that is not likely to detonate if someone screws up using them.
Well, that one probably would screw up even more.
I wouldn't know. I'm not familiar with enough with grenades.
Well, no, because the way you have to throw the thing, you have to basically swing it around your head before you.
Yeah,
throw
true.
it.
Actually, so yeah, if you're putting
Yeah.
fair point.
Mm.
Let's be fair. In the real world, grenade bola would be a remarkably bad idea. Doesn't mean someone probably hasn't made it. We just haven't heard about it because, well, the most likely
what's
thing
the
happened. Okay. Yeah, you're able to make a couple of sets, yeah.
feel like a true dwarf experimenting with explosives.
Well, depends on the type. Depends on which incarnation of dwarves, because some iterations of dwarvish culture are very anti-experimentation.
40k dwarves.
Yeah, like I said, anti-experimentation. Don't they have like? I mean, didn't someone in 40k to try and develop the airship? Didn't he have to, basically become a slayer in order to get any of his designs even considered? But 40k lore aside, not 40k fantasy battle lore. There are no dwarves in 40k, only the squats, and even they barely exist.
And back to the task at hand.
Yes, quite. So, the next day, in the early morning, probably about 10 in the morning, if we go off our time, you begin to see the column marching up the valley. It's about 5 wide and about 10 deep at a time, with occasional breaks for either what appear to be officers or other members of note. When they notice the blockage, there is a runner sent back along the column. After about 3/4 of an hour, if you're staying to watch this part, which I'm guessing you are.
Yeah, we're waiting to the point where we can get the most damage possible done to these people.
Alright. Okay. They brought up a pair of ogres to have them start shifting the material. There probably might be more on the way, but these were the two closest, from what you can tell.
Give it a bit more. Hopefully, the more ogres will show up. If not, then I'll whistle, and that'll be the signal to activate the explosives. I'll try to at least make it sound like a bird call.
Okay, I'll need a check for you in a minute for that. So,
Alright, does
That's
anyone
fine.
give both his pouch for bombs?
Sure.
Yep.
okay. Eventually, they get about a quarter of the way through. They haven't found any of the bombs yet, when a third one shows up. They're mainly pushing it off to the side.
Yeah, we would have had the explosives down at probably like midway up the valley wall.
Okay. So yeah, so effectively what's going to happen when you blow them is that it's going to kill the ogres and probably create an even bigger blockade than there was before.
Oh, it's more than just kill the ogres. I was trying to line as much of this valley as possible with the explosives.
Oh, okay. Didn't realise that.
Basically bringing the mountain down on them.
Yep, and both will then fly up and drop grenades on the siege weapons.
Okay. Alright. Eventually, okay, so Quoth is looking around and finding the siege weapons and where to detonate them.
Yes.
Okay, can you have Quoth give me a perception check?
Okay. Yeah. Alright, come on, where are you? Perception, right? 22.
Okay. Quoth is able to spot a few, although from what you can tell he'd have to fly further along the column to get more of them, because they've been set up into basically pairs with the teams nearby and then are separated out by quite a ways in between.
That actually works pretty good. That means we can take 2 of them out with 1 grenade.
Yep.
Well, they aren't moving any more than 2 together, because, funnily enough, moving 2 is one thing. Any more than that, they think it's too easy a target. Most likely.
true. Are they within the valley?
Some of them are, but it's a long column, so, you know.
Okay, yeah, just making sure. We'll have Clothes go through ones outside, to at least aim for two outside the valley.
Okay. That's not a problem.
And at this point, I think it's safe to say I'll whistle and I'll signal the explosives.
Okay, make me a bluff check.
Do you want Verboten to do that?
I've probably got a pretty good bluff, and at least I would be if that wasn't a 13 on natural 1.
Reroll it.
Yay, luck domain.
There's a reason why I always include that as one of the guaranteed domains in this base.
25.
And they still fail. Their perception check. Because critical success on skill checks are not a thing. Thankfully.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, so they don't notice anything out of the ordinary. Right up until things go boom.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, as soon as the bird call went off, Quoth immediately flew up.
Yeah, and drops.
Dropped to as many as he could, and then would fly a little bit further and cast Burning Hands on one and then fly away.
Okay, roll me 2d6 for the first grenade.
6. 10 damage.
Okay. Which will say half that, so 5 damage per round for the next few until they're able to extinguish it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's an inanimate object, so can't make reflex saves.
Yep.
And water won't put it out.
Fair enough. Although, to be fair, actually no, you've made sure they're outside the valley, otherwise the collapsing earth would have probably done it.
Yeah.
And now if you could just roll me a touch attack for the Burning Hands.
He will just be landing on it and casting it. So.
Oh, never mind then.
And Burning Hands is a reflex save.
Oh, of course it is, so yeah. So roll me the damage for Burning Hands.
God, these siege engineers, they're gonna be like, going up to their commanders and be like, we saw a fire-breathing pigeon!
Oh, fear the fire-breathing pigeon.
No, they won't see a fire-breathing pigeon. It comes out, he uses his claws, so they're gonna see a flaming clawed animal. Okay, so, alright, so that's 3d4. Alright, so that's 9 fire damage, and then Quoth flies away.
Okay. Oh, these siege engineers are getting flogged for being drunk on duty.
They're just going to have the ogres grab the siege engineers and use them against the siege weapons to put them out.
Yeah.
Actually, the amusing thing is, eventually someone's gonna start realizing all these stories about a raven with fire.
I think I know. Oh,
Someone's actually gonna put 2 and 2 together.
You'd
He's
hope.
gonna become his own god.
Well,
To the point where they are gonna start killing, or they're just gonna start killing ravens on sight.
Yeah, and then at some point.
They'll probably think that the ravens are blessed by their own god. It's spitting out fire.
And then at some point, Quoth gets turned into a raven phoenix.
Yep.
Well, I need to figure some way of progressing his abilities once he gets upgraded with your deific status.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Both get supersized.
Well, I did consider that at one point, but I wasn't sure if Emma would want the idea of being able to ride her familiar into battle.
Yeah, she's gonna want to make her own clockwork dragon for that.
Yes, I know. I am dreading that day.
Yeah, she's gonna make her own clockwork steed, whose name will be Steve.
I'm sure there's a reason, and I'm sure it is a bad pun, but that aside.
No, just because I think just because I like the name Steve for a fiery flaming thing of doom.
Yeah, I'm gonna be right back.
Okay, no problem.
No problem, man.
Alright.
Okay, so, small question. After the bombs go off, are you sticking around to watch anything, or are you getting on the move straight away?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd say probably I'd say let's maybe take a few pot shots, then start maybe like 1 or 2 rounds of pot shots, and we just start retreating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Quoth is probably gonna at least watch a little.
Okay.
I probably would have grabbed a bow and arrow on the way here. They're further away here.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you're able to get a few more shots off, and yeah, you're able to do a fair bit of damage.
How many siege weapons did we get?
You'd have probably gotten at least 6.
Yes.
There are more than you've seen, but you'd have probably gotten at least 6. Whether they'd still be repairable or not is, a 50-50.
Well, here's hoping.
Yeah, that's all Quoth would want. He'd probably just be watching to see if they're able to save the ones he destroyed and then fly away.
Okay, alright. Let's see, you got to roll 3. Just going to roll the dice on that. First one is saved. Second one. All 3 saved. Damn.
Oh.
They will be I was doing it so that if it rolled over 50 it would be destroyed, but apparently the low rolls are working in my favour for once.
You can never go for rolls for percentile to see if the siege survive.
What, sorry?
Adam was asking what the rolls were for.
Right, okay. But yeah, the goblins got lucky for once. For once. Why do I not see this happening often in their future?
Both will fly back, sad.
Well, they will probably be... I am definitely going to have some marked out with the fire mark that will basically mean they do reduce damage.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, they might still be workable. Doesn't mean they're going to be working in perfect order.
Yeah.
Okay, so... Is there anything else anyone wants to do in the sort of... You reckon you bought yourself with, them having to dig people out, re-clear the valley, and all that. You've probably bought yourself another week, maybe week and a half, before they're likely to arrive. So probably a week once Arusk and the rest get back. So...
Quick question. One of the people with us knows Necro, right?
Yes.
And as soon as, if he ever speaks in front of Emmett, it would...
Yeah.
Would this be a known thing, or no?
Harris wouldn't really have brought it up yet. At least since he realized Steve's camp would have gotten better for the ritual.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, he already has a different language. He's teaching all the spies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Emma probably would have thanked, after the ritual, Emma would have thanked him for the new language in Thieves' Camp.
Yeah, that language domain is more than a little bit tricksy to get around, isn't it? Quite a cool ability, I think, but...
It is.
Are there any languages that people know here that would put some fear into some goblins?
Emma does know... Was it Abyssal, or what was the language that the priest was speaking?
Infernal.
Yeah, Emma knows Infernal.
Okay, we should put that on a piece of paper. That I'm shooting one of the arrows into there. You'd be like, we're always watching. or something.
Alright,
I'm not sure if we should do that because then they'll constantly be looking up in the air, in the sky, and see quote for my sky stalkers.
Well, I'm saying with the arrows.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is if you send them that message,
it'll put them on their guard more than they already are.
They might.
Yeah, it might put them on their guard, and we don't want them on their guard. We want them scared for not knowing.
I was thinking of some way to basically make them think that they're, God may be a little bit angry with them or something.
I will remind you that you do know that they have one of their priests with them, so he'd probably be able to allay any of those particular concerns, at least from that aspect.
Damn.
I say, if nothing else, that is always a reason to have a priest with particularly in this setting, to have a priest with the military. Damn good for morale.
Yeah.
What does that say later when our military has gods behind it?
Yeah, that's better for morale, but then again, so does theirs, technically.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of curious on whether or not the priest actually saw Quoth set the fire. Because Quoth wasn't looking, Quoth just Quoth dropped a bomb, went over, lit a fire with his feet, and then flew away.
If he did, he is probably praying to Rakash and trying to get information.
He's like, Rakash, was that one of yours?
I don't...
Rakash's going, a flaming what?
A flaming pigeon.
Have you been huffing the incense again?
It's gonna be a while before someone with half a brain finally goes, well, whenever someone sees a raven, it's probably something bad happens. It probably means something.
Oh,
but until then, everyone's just gonna be accused of being an idiot drunk.
Alright, but we caused a lot of damage. We caused another week and a half. Got any more plans of destruction and chaos? Or...
Emma will finalize plans with her defense team, her offense team, and her new team, because she now has a new wizard, the Siege Engine team.
Yes, with his shiny new sextant and less shiny but even more exciting catapult.
Yep, and Emma will start making plans for an automatic clockwork reload system to do later, to add this thing later.
I would say save that for the ballista rather than the,
Yeah, she's more or less going to start working with him for what he wants his dream siege weapon to be. Like, this is only the first one, we'll work with something better later when we have more time. Know what you like with it, and no, you cannot have automatic reloading with grenades. We're not taking that from Verbatim, that's his thing.
Dear God, a siege engine side grenade launcher. I mean, I know you Yanks have them in the military, but...
Yeah.
It still frightens me that there's such a thing as I think it was something like a 50 caliber automatic grenade launcher or something like that.
Yeah.
The question of who comes up with these things does spring to mind.
But yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we're gonna start, and she is also, while doing this, gonna kind of ask questions once they start seeing what he's able to do. If anyone else would like to, not now, but it'll be after the main attack, would like to be part of the Siege Engine Brigade.
You won't. There probably won't be as much interest now. Most of them probably want to wait and see what it can actually do before.
Yeah, but she is gonna make that a thing. She's like, okay, we're gonna have defense team of casters, offense team of casters, and once we get the mage and once we're able to, the stun, we'll start working on more siege wizards, some magesses, and some eldritch rogues. We'll have a nice balance of offense and defensive magics.
One thing I will be doing is I'll probably be preparing for the final attack, and it's basically I'm going to be building trenches on the sides of the front of the camp, across from the bridge. Basically, they're basically going to be spots for the skirmishers to pop in and out, snipe, run and stab, all of that.
Okay. And I'm guessing they'll be.
Emma will have her casters assist as they all have that fancy new spell to dig trenches.
I'll also help with the making sure they hide, like they have little hiding spots, like on the valley.
Oh, expeditious excavation and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to need to invest in some more map tiles.
Make doubly sure of is that the ring that they have outside is very, very, very well hidden. And if there is time, she may try and go to the ring and try and have both alarm and invisibility alarm put into that as well, if possible. If not, she's not going to worry about it.
I would say probably not, just because you've got enough effects as is. And you'd need to spend time researching on how to work it in, so that'd probably take as long as...
She will start at least making preparations for when the battle's done to get a new set with those spells in.
Okay, that's not a problem. Okay, it's 11:15 here, and as I've mentioned at the start, I'm going to have to rework the siege map for the actual battle, because trying to do it on the old battle map doesn't work because the angles of the grid just were not playing ball.
Yeah, no problem, Chris. And we may want to at least try and get together, just plan out during the week, perhaps our troop placement exactly. Yeah, just so I could get that done before the session.
Yeah, I will make sure the new map is up by tomorrow so you guys can check it out, and then that way you can have a thought, because there's going to be the other thing of how exactly are you going, because I'm just wondering where the skirmishers are going to hide when they're not in the trenches, but that's for another night. So thank you folks for watching, hope you've had a good time. We will all see you next week, same time, well, hopefully a bit earlier, hopefully without the 5 minutes delay this next week.
Yes, in all things, and I will not have to be traveling anywhere.
Also, did Nyx and Vermonten get their armor yet?
If not listed, then we can definitely say it'll be ready by the time you begin the siege next week.
Alright, good. Gotta make sure everyone's as protected as possible.
Yep. And take care. Once again, G Marshall, thanks for the follow, and good to see you again. Hope you had a good night, and thanks again for being here, Jazzy. Take care, and next week we begin carving in new nightmares for the goblin populace.